afternoon, Jody. How are you doing?
Hey, Miss Robin, I'm great. I just literally blew back from your county to my county. The weather has taken a nasty turn this afternoon.
It has, it has. And that's recording the Special Agent Moms podcast here. We talked about doing it in person, but to go with our topic we're going to talk about, we felt like it needed to be outside. And this is not an outside weather recording kind of day.
This is a hold on to your as one of my board members used to say, this is a oh, how do you put it? Skirts up day or something. You really got to put your hands down to hold your skirts down today. Oh man.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that
don't
would,
remember how he used to phrase that, but this is not a good day to wear a dress. Let me just put it that way. Not in
no,
Kansas
no.
anyway. Anyway, so I'm
So,
Jody Drake. I'm your Pratt County K-State Research and Extension Agent, and I just got back from Robbins County down south.
mhm. And I'm Robin Eubank Callis, and I'm the K-State Research and Extension Agent in Barber County. And what Jody's talking about is we have homemaker units. And Jody, I know you've had some homemaker units, and I use that generic term because some people know them as FCEs, which do you know what FCE stands for?
Family and Consumer Education.
Community
No.
educators,
Okay, there you go.
family and community educators. Some people know them as HEUs, which do you know,
Makers Education Units or
yes,
EHUs.
yes. So there's
Okay,
alphabet
lots of
soup out there,
that.
but I'm going to brag on my ladies for just a minute, tell you a little bit about them,
As you
because
should.
yes, these units started in Barber County in 1935. So if you do some quick math, we're at 90 years here in 2025 that
That.
ladies have been meeting to further education around home and community issues. And it they started the same time 4-H clubs did. So if you think about it, families got together for their kids to learn more at 4-H meetings, and then the ladies got together at their homemaker unit meetings to learn more about being better moms. And I am going to quote our own Marshall Stewart, who quotes his mother when he talks about this, that said that the value of extension is that he's alive today, is what his mother told him. And so I love that story when he shares it because it truly shows the value of what these ladies learned. And I mean, we still have um, close to 45 ladies in my county that get together in their units. So anyway, I wanted to just brag a little bit on them and reaching 90 years.
Yeah, as you should brag on them. They're a great bunch of ladies, and they're sometimes our best advocates too. I mean, if you get them on an issue and you need their support for something, holy cow, they can make things happen. I'm just saying.
They do. And um what I love is that my units keep inviting new members. They're not just trying to get by, but we are adding new members every year. And unfortunately, we lose members every year too. So,
Yeah,
but they are a very lively group and always come out to export our extension programs.
which is why I love to visit them because they just always welcome me and embrace me and say, "Hey, Jody, nice to see you." So anyway, I came down to do a lesson for them today, and the lesson I did for them was entitled "Nature and You." And I will totally fess up. This is not a Jody Drake original lesson. I actually borrowed it from the Oklahoma State University Extension website and I kind of crafted it into my own. But the original concept was developed by them, and they do have some good lessons on their extension website, and that's kind of what we do in extension. We borrow from each other and get some good ideas from each other, and I think that's great that we're able to do that. So they're out there, they're available. We expect each other to do that. So that's
I love getting to visit with our counterparts across. I mean, I'm on the state line, but from multiple states. And just, we were throwing around alphabet soup, so let me throw out the OHCE acronym, which is the Oklahoma Home and Community Educators. So they have their own acronym for the same type of ladies in the same groups. So
yeah.
these groups do exist across the nation, in many, many states. So
Yep.
just
They're a fun
so
bunch.
we
So
decided to film this podcast, record this podcast. And so tell us a little bit about the lesson. What were you trying to impart? What research were you sharing?
so my goal really was to educate the ladies about the benefits of just being outside in nature because it not only has health benefits for your body, but it also has mental health benefits as well. It wasn't so much to convince them to get outside and exercise, although don't get me wrong, that's awesome as well. Getting outside and exercising also has some great benefits as well. But just being outside, being in solitude, spending some time outside in nature without any distractions does wonders for one's mental health. And that's kind of the point I was trying to make today, as well as not only mental health, physical health and well-being. And it just, and this is coming off of a very cold winter past 2 months we've had. And I needed this for my own soul more than anything else, I think. I should state that I live in a very ancient farmhouse. It's well over 120 years old. And if I don't leave my faucet dripping when it gets down around 10 degrees, then my pipes freeze. And we've had many days like that. And I get downright grouchy when it gets cold and snowy outside because it takes me a lot longer to go feed my chickens and my geese. And I got stuck in my driveway at least once this winter. And and you know what? My attitude improves a lot when it warms up. So just saying.
So
Just
you are ready for spring to be here and stay and not do this yo-yo back and forth between warm and cool and
exactly. So that's kind of how I started the lesson with the ladies is that I'm not here to convince you to get outside and exercise. I'm here to just convince you to get outside. Just spend some time outside. And I really hope that I hope they got that out of the lesson today. So yeah.
I think they really did. I was impressed by one of the ladies that was visiting afterwards and talking about the value of, the mental health she saw in her mom, but just being able to look out the window and
I
see
love that.
nature.
Yeah.
And so in her situation, she's in a care home and not able to physically go outside just anytime she wants. But that being able to, I believe she said they fed squirrels outside her window, and so
Yeah.
her
Watching the
squirrels come see
squirrels,
her. So I
and the
loved,
birds.
that anecdotal stories there that show that, it's not just being outside, but being connected to nature.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the actual health benefits of spending time in green space do actually include some great health benefits, like
Mhm.
reducing your risk of asthma, diabetes, heart disease, lowers your blood pressure. Yeah. And reduces your risk of stroke. I love that. Um, this they made me repeat this one a couple of times. If you live in a neighborhood with 10 or more trees per block, your health perception is similar to increase. It improves your health perception similar to an increase in your personal income of $10,000 per year.
So I can get that. That took me a little bit to wrap my mind around,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
some of us don't live on blocks. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
think, okay, if I did have
I
a
live on a
block
block.
size here, but then also if you don't understand the research that says the higher your income is, the more likelihood you are to perceive you have better health.
Right.
And so, understanding that, I immediately went to, oh, wow. I wonder if you talk to city planners with that information, we could
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about planting trees and what the improvement of long-term health in our community and even perceived health is what that says, um,
Right.
would be. So I took it a little different direction than they did, thinking about how can we enhance the community.
Yeah,
But
me too.
yeah.
And one thing I didn't mention to them was, some cities are labeled and get the moniker of Tree City USAs, and you have to do
Mhm.
certain things. They have to qualify for that label. And do you think people look for that when they're looking for a place to move to be I don't know. Um,
I would
I
say
don't
it
know.
depends on what your values are.
Right.
If you value that green space, maybe not necessarily being in your own yard because you don't want the maintenance, but that there's community green space, or
Mhm.
maybe, I think of your city because I come visit quite frequently, and the number of little parks.
You have lots of parks. Yeah,
So you may have
absolutely. Yeah.
houses that, because of the time frame they were built fairly close together, and you may not have a lot of front yard space for trees, but you have a lot of little parks where you get the green space without it being in your own front yard. So,
So sitting in a forest for just 15 minutes significantly reduces your cortisol levels and heart rate variability, while sitting in an urban street does absolutely nothing.
so,
Uh,
what I like on that is it says that urban settings don't harm you, but there's a
right,
benefit from sitting in a
right.
forest. And I think I would be interested to know the research whether we all need to go to foresty type states to hike, or if it's just about being out with the trees.
The trees. Yeah, right. Adults who take short day trips to the woods boost their levels of immunoproteins and natural killer cells for at least 7 days. And the last little tip I had for them was your memory, creativity, and task performance increase much more after a walk in a park than on a city street. So there you go.
Yeah.
I told them, and I usually go for a walk on my lunch hour in our local park. That's when I like to get my walking time in. So,
And
and that
that's
does help lower my blood pressure a little bit, I think. So
it's
visit
another
it.
reason to have parks and have
Uh-huh.
your communities designed with those kinds of things in mind,
Uh-huh.
you know.
Yeah.
And I guess I think about the things that maybe we did before we knew it was good for us. Um, but I remember my grandparents talking about going out on a Sunday drive.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah, totally.
they may not have taken a day trip to the woods, but they got out of town. And I grew up in a very rural community, so you could get out of town and on the dirt roads and out in country and nature and real quick. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, you're talking about one of the ladies' mom's in the nursing home, and I was
mhm.
telling them about my dad, and his backyard's kind of like walking through a Disney movie because dad likes to make sure that his deer are fed, his squirrels are fed, and the birds are fed. And, it's just like a little park in his backyard. He was not like that when I was a kid. Mm-mm, not at all. But it's like a little sanctuary in his backyard now.
Mhm.
And it makes him happy. It brings him peace. He's a happy man. He's also much more at peace when he can get outside and go for a walk as well. Uh, if he, when it's cold and he's trapped inside the house, he kind of goes a little bit stir crazy. He does keep his mind active, though. He puts together jigsaw puzzles in the basement while he watches sports on TV. So he's not just sitting there watching TV. He's always putting together a jigsaw puzzle. he spends time at the local farm store on a regular basis, playing dominoes with his friends. I also shared with them that, he's currently going through chemo, and
Mhm.
he swears he's doing fine. He's fine. He's fine. Uh, but he also said he felt much better when it warmed up and he could get back out and go walking again. And I absolutely think that has a lot to do with his mental health, even more than his physical health. So yeah, there's something to it. There's this.
There,
Yeah.
there is, and there's a lot of research to back up what we're saying, and about the amount of sunshine you need and the power of vitamin D in our lives, which our
Yeah.
bodies can make if we have the sunshine. There's reasons vitamin D is called the sunshine vitamin. I mean, so I guess I share that all to say that we're not just sharing anecdotal stories.
No,
This whole thing
no.
is truly based on
On a lot of research.
research.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I did share a lot of things that, all of this just came pouring into me lately when I was started working on this lesson. All these little aha moments came to me when I was working on this lesson. And another aha moment was actually from another podcast that I listened to. And it was an interview with a book author by the name of Carlos Whitaker, who'd written a book called Reconnected. And he had gone away for 7 weeks. And you can look him up online on Amazon. But he'd gone away for 7 weeks and disconnected from all of his social media, from all of his devices, whatever. And he'd spent 2 weeks at a monastery and the rest of the time with an Amish community. And I don't think I told the ladies this, but he did a brain scan before he left and one after
Oh,
he
you
left.
didn't tell us.
And there was significant differences in his brain scan as well when he got back. It, it was interesting. One of the things he pointed out, though, is that we have a lack of, we've kind of lost touch with being able to be in solitude, just being okay with the ability to just be alone. We've always got a device in front of us. We've always got, um, you know, music going, a computer going. We just don't have that ability to just sit and be still. And I think of that. I shouldn't bring God into this right now, but I think of that Bible verse that says, "Be still and know that I am God." And are we able to be still anymore? I don't know, but I don't know.
Well, and that's I think why I love the nature research so much is it doesn't say you have to be still, but just to be out, be in nature.
Right. We
Um,
don't. Yeah.
I shared the story about you know, kids that have been in school all day. I have a 5-year-old little boy,
Hmm.
plenty of energy to burn. And so if we have to go straight from daycare into the house for the night, he is not a nice creature to deal with. He's just not ready to gear down when bedtime comes. But if we can get home and the sun is still out, it's not dark yet, and I just say go.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just
That's a
go.
little
And
boy. He needs it.
he gets on his bike and he rides
Mhm.
around and shows me all of his new tricks, or you know um the great evenings are when my husband's home and he can play catch or play shoot basketball hoops, but just go burn some energy off.
That's
And
awesome.
I think he reconnects with, the nature piece too as well while he's outside, because nothing happens that he doesn't notice. um
Absolutely. Yeah.
he's just an observant little creature. So
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I said I shouldn't bring God into this, but I do, but I'm a woman of faith, and that's some of my best prayer time is when I'm out on my walks. That's my solitude and my prayer time as well. And I think that is so good for our souls and so good for our mental health, whether you pray when you're outside or not. Again, I think it goes back to that mental health piece. And I think it's okay to bring God into it if you want to. I mean, you don't have to, but if you want to, why not? The other thing that a point that author made that I thought was interesting is that he,
mhm.
in his opinion, this is just his opinion, He didn't think that it was the phone that was so much that what we were addicted to. It's what we put into our phones. Um, and he could be right. I don't know. It was his opinion, one author's opinion. So there you go.
What a, and that's you shared that in the meeting, and I thought about it for a while, and I'm like, I don't know. There's
He he
hmm,
compared it to a drug addict. The drug addict's not addicted to the needle; they're addicted to the drug they put in the needle. And I thought, oh, well, okay. So there's something for you to munch on in your brain for a little bit.
there's still something because mine is here, like literally a foot away, and something about having that in your hand.
He said when he took Life 360, for those of you who don't know, Life 360 is an app you can put on your phone, and your children also put it on their phones, and then you can track your teenagers or whatever. And they can also track you as the parent. He said when
Right.
he took that off of his phone, he didn't miss it so much, but his teenager did because she couldn't track him. And I could see that. I could see my teenager saying, Mom, Mom, how come you shut that off? Where are you? Mom. Yeah.
So, my husband and I share that same app, you know, and I'm okay with maybe shutting off notifications,
Hmm.
but there's been times that that's been nice if you're trying to find where somebody's at or what they've done, because there's times you can't
Yeah.
answer a phone, but anyway, I just
Hmm.
think about the safety feature that even if you're wanting to take a break, you can always take a break by shutting off notifications.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And then I shared with them a few tips just to get some more time in nature. And these did come from OSU Extension. Research shows that people who spend at least 2 hours per week in nature report significantly better health and well being. So, if you want to maximize the stress busting effects of nature, one study showed that the most efficient drop in cortisol happens between the 20 to 30-minute mark. So, 20 minutes in nature,
Mhm.
yeah, certainly won't hurt you. And this is where I like to throw in the lunchtime tip. Spend your lunch hour in the park. Even if you're just sitting there eating your sack lunch. I see a lot of people in our local park eating their sack lunch with a friend or by themselves. I forgot to tell the ladies about this one. There's a lady in our park who brings her quilting. Um, she sits and quilts in the park. I see her there a lot of times on a nice day, sitting and quilting in the park. That's got to be great for your mental health. I forgot to. I was going to tell your ladies about that. I forgot. You need to tell them next time you see them.
I will tell them because my quilters would be really impressed with
Yeah,
that thought process. Yeah.
yeah. Choose an active commute to work or school along a greenway and take a break along the way. So if you have the ability, bike to work, walk to work. I always encourage kids to bike to school if you have a safe path to bike to school. Some schools even host a bike to school day and have adults that are able to bike with
Hmm.
them. I think that's great. Plan a weekend getaway around an outdoor experience. There's really just a lot of ways you can add extra hours um, to your outdoor experience with just a little bit of effort. I also suggest that you schedule it. If you write it down, it's more likely to happen, right?
There is a lot of research about that. If you put it in your planner, put it in or set an app to remind you. I know we've talked here in our office more than once, but we don't take morning and afternoon breaks. We don't
No.
have a structured time to say we're
Mm-mm.
taking a break. So, I mean, that would be an absolute great use of a 10-15 minute break to take a break and get outside for just a little bit.
Absolutely. We encourage that. Absolutely. Um, Also, round up a buddy, have an accountability partner.
Hmm.
You're more likely to get your butt outside if you have an accountability partner. My college girl was feeling a little down and depressed. Again, she's like me. She'd been cooped up inside. The weather had been cruddy, especially on campus, because she'd had to walk to class in the cold. She literally called me crying one day. Do you know how cold it is? Yes, darling, I'm so sorry. And I told her, I said, you need to go exercise. You need to just go to the gym. You got to exercise. You got to get out of that apartment.
Mm-hmm.
This is not good for you. I know. I said the hardest step is the first step out the door. Once you do that, you'll feel better. And she did. She made it. She made it for a week. She's like, man, I do feel better. I feel so much better. Who knew? Mom was right. I didn't say that though. I did not say that.
Nope,
Mhm.
nope.
No, I just told her I was proud of her. Um, and if are going to go outside on a long hike, just dress for the weather. Just think ahead. Make sure you've got the right clothing on, the right shoes on. Set yourself up for success.
I think about layers being so great because then as you warm up, or if it's
Mhm.
surprisingly windy or cooler, you can dress in layers and adjust to the weather so easily.
Yeah, yeah. And I would highly suggest um, looking beyond your local parks for opportunities for some different experiences. I was telling the ladies today that our Kansas State University Gardens are celebrating their 150th year this year. Who knew? And they're
Right.
going to have a lot of special events going on all throughout the year. They've got trips going on with that celebration. So, there's an opportunity for some fun events. And a town just 75 miles west of my town, Wichita, has a beautiful botanical garden, Botanica, and they're having their tulip festival next month. It is awesome. If you haven't been, you should go.
They're east of your town, not west,
Oh,
dear.
sorry, they are east. You are correct. Sorry. I always say I'm west of them.
Right, right. No, I understand. I say the same thing.
Yeah.
And I was trying to find it real quick so I could give the right information, and maybe I will get it found. But I was thinking that our Kansas Parks and Wildlife had a guide to state parks, like go visit a state park every year,
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
or every month for the year. But
Hmm?
um, I didn't find that, but I did find real quick here. It's just ksoutdoors.com. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're anywhere in Kansas and wanting to look, they have a great downloadable parks guide for all of the parks in the state. And, those parks have things in them and things to see and do. And it's nature. So you can get outside and enjoy our state parks too.
And the final little piece that I shared with them was actually a little nugget that I got from one of our national meetings. And it was an activity that another agent had done with kids, an after school program. But adults, I think, could definitely get a lot out of this as well. And it's called nature journaling. And basically, you just, if you don't want to just sit there in nature for 20 minutes and you don't know what else to do, grab a journal and look, listen, and take in what's around you and write it down. Journal about what you see, journal about what you're observing around you. So I gave you some tips for kind of how to do that because you might not know how to do that. Just kind of take an inventory of everything that you see around you. Look up, look down, really observe, kind of heightens your senses a little bit.
Well, and I was thinking, just even talking about it there today, I was sitting where I could see out a window, and so I could see um the wind was shifting, and so I could see an American flag changing which direction it was blowing in the wind. So just talking about nature and makes you more aware. So I could see where journaling would help raise your awareness even more because you could look back to see what you saw on certain days. You know, I shared about the birds that my neighbor feeds them. I got to admit, it's totally the neighbor that keeps them drawing in, but just walking out the front door, and a lot of times he will have cardinals. And one day I counted 10 pairs of
Oh,
cardinals.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a beautiful sight in the smaller trees that he's got, and then around the feeder. So it was just, but I couldn't tell you when I saw it now. But if I was journaling, I would
Yeah.
be able to look
Mhm.
back and, recall
Uh-huh.
even more things that I had noticed in the neighborhood. So,
Yeah, I think it's fun to do. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You don't have to draw pictures in it. Uh, what's whatever you want to make it. Just, you know, gives you
right.
something fun to do, keep track of. Yeah. Especially if you're a bird watcher. I mean, keep track of the different species of birds that you see. I don't know. Oh, I just thought of something else. I don't know if you are on social media at all, but if you are, you should follow the bald eagle pair. And I forget which national park they're in, but Shadow and Jackie. Are you following them?
I'm
Um,
not.
okay, I'll find out which. Hang on, let me do a little searching. Anyway, they are a pair of bald eagles that they have a camera set up on, and their
Hmm.
babies are hatching right now. They haven't had babies for like 3 years, and they had three eggs that they've been carefully guarding all winter, and they just hatched like today. It's so exciting. I'm such a nerd about this.
You know, and that's another way where even when you can't be out in nature or see something,
Yes.
you can still stay connected. And I think just having that, is it the best way to do it? No, the best way would be to go actually take that hike and get away from and out and lost in the trees or the prairie or lost out in nature. But if that's not an option for whatever reason, being able to follow the bald eagles
They're in Big
online.
Bear, California, and they have two eaglets right now, two babies. There's one more possibly.
That's success.
I know. See, that's exciting. Made
Yeah,
my day.
you know. Well, and here where we're at in Kansas, we're in a migratory bird. I don't know if you've noticed that, but just, when you're outdoors, you can hear ducks and geese and what did we finally decide the other night? It was cranes flying.
Oh
And I've
yeah.
seen bald eagles in our neighborhood here. So,
Yeah, I get a lot of geese. Occasionally at night I'll hear an owl outside my window. Yesterday morning I was greeted by a skunk. That was not fun. I made a
uh,
quick retreat out of the chicken pen.
was he in the chicken pen or just
Mhm.
adjacent to?
No, in the outside pen.
Ooh.
It
Okay.
was really early in the morning. I was going out before the sun had risen. I was trying to sneak in early before I left, and there was a little skunk in the corner. I saw him before he saw me, luckily, and I made a quick retreat. That kind of nature doesn't really lower your blood pressure, I would say.
No, I don't think that was in their research study on
Nope,
that.
nope. So we did, like I said, list some opportunities for some local um, ways to get out and about. Again, I just
Hmm.
encourage you to do a search of your local state parks, your local parks in general. You don't even have to go to a park. Just go outside in your backyard. That it'll have the same effects, I promise. It honestly will. We also
Yeah.
mentioned our local Block Kansas program that will start up at the end of March. I think we'll talk a little bit more about it on another podcast. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Hmm.
So we'll have that coming up as well. What else? What else we have coming up?
Well, we have a guest that's going to join us.
Okay,
Um,
good.
so hopefully we'll get her for next week. But
Okay.
yeah, I'll just leave it at that. So, and I think we've talked about a couple of other guests too to
Yep.
come share with us. So,
Sounds good. Sounds good. We're
so
getting with some 4-H stuff already, getting ready for county fair stuff already, and yeah, I'm feeling the pressure.
go outside, take a walk,
Good
hold,
advice. Yeah.
hold on to your hat because I know you're not in a skirt today, so you're good. But
He called it a dress up day. That's what he called it.
oh,
I finally remembered. He called it a dress up day because your dress would fly up.
you know, that's very fair today in
Mhm,
all sorts of weather.
mhm.
I yeah. I deal with boys in my life more, so it's more about hold on to your hat because otherwise ball caps go tumbling down the street.
Mhm. For sure. For
So
sure. Okay.
okay, Jody. So if somebody's just found us today,
Well,
where
first
could
of
they
all,
find us at?
you need to look for us on Apple or Spotify to find our podcast. You can always find our lovely videos on YouTube. You can look for Pratt County Extension YouTube's channel. I always post our videos there. Social media, you can find us at Barber County Extension or Pratt CO Extension. I'm also on Instagram because I'm cool like that. And I'm at Pratt CO Extension, I believe. If not, do a search. You'll find me on Instagram as well. But we're posted everywhere. Just do a search for us. Special Agent Mom podcast is what you're looking for. You can find us. You can email us too, jdrake at ksu.edu or reubank at ksu.edu. How'd I
Jody
do?
does that so well. So
I
well.
probably forgot something, but that's okay.
But thank you for walking us through a little bit of what you did today.
Yeah. Tell your
Um,
ladies thanks for hosting me today. That was fun.
I definitely will. They always enjoy. And so, yeah, but we do a series of 3 lessons. And if somebody local is listening, our next one is April. Make sure I pull the right date here. April 8th. And we're going to be talking about what to do when the power goes out and food safety, especially on what to do when the power goes out. So, and that will be taught by Melissa Temish from Kingman County. So, we might even look at talking to get about her coming on and sharing her program
Oh, we
after that.
should. Yeah. That'd be
Yeah.
great. Yep.
So,
Okay.
anyway, all right. Well, you have a day and try to stay safe tonight and out of the wind.
Will do. Will do. Talk
Okay.
to you later.
Talk to you.